Over the page now, and an Australian company has developed a world-first platform to enable people to use cryptocurrency for everything from buying a cup of coffee to purchasing a home. It's an incredibly interesting prospect. So how does it all work? Well, Steve Lewis from the Digital Currency Reserve is here to explain a little bit more about it.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
Doing very well.
Thank you very much for having us.
Not at all. This is a very interesting thing we've watched unfold. Cryptocurrencies have obviously skyrocketed in the last few years, but let's talk a little bit about what the Digital Currency Reserve is and the work that you guys get up to.
Absolutely, and even over the weekend, listening to Warren Buffett's comments on what he would do with his $25 worth of billions of Bitcoin. What we're trying to do is what he needs. We're trying to create movement with this currency and make it easy for people who have amassed their cryptocurrencies to be able to use them safely, securely, and with the ease of everyday transactions, just like using your banking app or your other financial instruments.
Yeah, it certainly seems like that's the way we're heading, but how will it expand access to cryptocurrencies? I suppose that might be the problem for a lot of people, is actually sitting down, setting up, buying in as well.
Absolutely. And what we're doing is not creating a coin. What we're doing is creating a management platform that allows people to go in and lodge their coins within this system so that they can access them securely anywhere in the world, but also to protect their identity within the local jurisdictional laws as well as the consumer laws within the place that they're spending. So what we wanted to do was to create a simple way for people to purchase and place their coins. Some of the current solutions out there are very confusing and cumbersome and don't offer you any protections. And some of the larger, like crypto.com and Coinbase, these are not anonymous platforms. They take all of the information, but they're not operating under the local laws and jurisdictions that are protecting you as a citizen of Australia, for example, which is what our system, as a hybrid system between blockchain and sovereign vault, allows our customers to do.
Well, it certainly sounds like you've identified a series of niche things that need to be addressed as well. I'm glad to hear security was in there. How will it work for consumers and businesses as well on both ends of the spectrum?
Absolutely. So when we look at businesses like Visa, technologies like Visa, they provide a payment rail where there's three portions of a rail: a purchaser, an issuer, an acquirer, and a processor. Our system creates a hybrid blockchain sovereign vault where you have the protections of validated purchases, where your coin is in a sovereign vault when it's used at a merchant, which is a merchant terminal within our own TDCR app as a business solution. The validation happens and the coin is released. The coin is protected prior to that point, where it can identify the user, and the business is also protected to know that that user is using the coin for those reasons. That user is identified, and if there's issues within the transaction, that business has the proper records to be able to protect itself, much like you would be using your Visa card or your bank debit card.
Yeah, no, incredible stuff. So obviously there's 1 million Australians using cryptocurrency at the moment, and that number's growing. How do you see the future of all of this playing out? It's definitely an interesting space. I'd be curious to get your thoughts.
Well, currency is an amazing thing, and you know, dollars, notes, and coins cost a lot to maintain. A lot of currency is currently digital. As we see the backing of these coins by the U.S. banks, and now some of the Australian banks are paying attention, we've got a situation where we need to see transactions happening in order to make it an actual currency. Bitcoin valuation makes it an investment in an asset, not an actual currency. And so you see these companies out there providing solutions. We need merchants to come on board. We need merchants to want to be able to capitalize on the spending frenzy, much like we saw in El Salvador when they announced it. Tourism went up. When retailers are accepting currency, the spending goes up. Average basket size is higher, and new customers are going to those particular retailers. So we need to see more of that. And as soon as we see those transactions, we'll see a leveling off in the value where there's stability there, and And we'll also see a lot of these vanity coins drop off and some of the fad stuff disappears so that we can get to it being an actual currency, which is what we're excited for.
Some of those meme stocks kind of, trailing off. It's interesting to think. But just before I let you go, let's talk a little bit about safety, the TDCR platform. Is it safe to use for those who are on the fence and getting excited by the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we do is we pull coin off of the blockchain, and we have a very unique hybrid system that the tech nerds can tell you all about in language that sometimes even I don't understand. But it protects your coin so that until you're validated, much like you're using your PIN code or your thumbprint or your Face ID in the current technologies, you are protected in much that same way. We wanted to take all of the principles that are out there now, which are legislated, which are monitored, and we wanted to apply those to crypto rather than trying to come up with new solutions that governments will quickly shut down as this becomes a regulated currency.
100%. Steve Lewis, thank you so much for joining me on the program to unpack more about the crypto space and, of course, what TDCR offers. Exciting times.
Thank you very much, Mike. I'm going to go make some eggs now. Thank you, Joanna.
Easy done.